Hello there, I'm Vicki Parfano from Aussie Stampers. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm making my 2018 calendar and I'm using some of these supplies. And I have a calendar that I printed out from a download that I found on the Stampin' Up! Demonstrators website. Now, if you're not a demonstrator, you can find these downloads for 2018 calendars online. I've put stamps on mine and I've chosen stamps. Some of them are stamps I've had for a very long time. Some of them are current stamps that I've been using. But I've used a grey ink which made these look rather subtle. And I've chosen things that are important to me around each month of the year. So for instance, this one here I'm showing you is Happiest of Birthdays. That's because April is my birthday month. So I wanted to have a happy birthday message in there. It's a good day for May. We have a beautiful variety of bird life here and I really am grateful that we have so many wonderful birds in our garden. June we plan on going on a holiday, so that's our adventure that will be going on and I have that to look forward to this year. And July is usually really rainy and cloudy and blustery around here on the river, so every cloud has a silver lining, you just have to look up to see it, is the message that I put on that stamp for me. And August is usually really windy. We get a lot of trees dropping their leaves, so we do a lot of raking in August, raking up those leaves. September is our anniversary month, so in 2018 Paul and I will have been married for exactly 1 year, so that's an exciting anniversary, very first wedding anniversary. October is Halloween. I love Halloween and I go crazy with decorating my front garden. Really enjoy that. November we get back into the garden because it's starting to be time to do our spring planting, so we really like doing that. And of course December is Christmas. So I've used grey ink so that these are a nice subtle insert to put inside what is going to be my calendar book. Now you can see I have some really pretty paper here. And this is designer paper and I've simply cut down some sheets and placed them inside each other to form a little booklet. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually bind this book. It's so simple, you won't believe it when I show you how to do it. Look how pretty these papers are. They all come from the one paper suite. And I used, I think, 4 sheets of paper. 1, 2, 3, yes, 4 sheets of paper. You could actually make this book with 3 sheets. I have a couple of spare blank pages in the back that I'm going to use to put some notes in. So if you only had 3 sheets of paper, you could still fit in all the calendar months. But I wanted that extra space in the back so that I could write in it. Now this is the shape that you'll get, and I've cut these down to, they're already 12 inches wide and I've cut them to 7.5 inches deep. So they're your measurements. I've scored them down the middle. I've burnished them really well with my bone folder to get a really good crisp crease on them. And then layer them inside each other in a way that makes them look pleasing and attractive to your eye. Now what you're going to use for the binding is 2 staples. Now you don't need a stapler, you just need the 2 staples. And I'm going to poke some holes in the spine with a paper piercing tool or an awl. And I'm going to measure up so that I get a nice equidistance between those staples. So the staples I'm using are half an inch size. So the first mark I'm going to make is going to be at the 1.5 inch mark. And I'm going to pierce a hole there. And I have this on my cutting mat, so it's not going to damage my work surface at all. And then the 2 inch mark. So at 1.5 and 2 inches are the first 2 marks across the spine. And then the next 2 marks are at, let me see, 5.5 inches and 6 inches. And so that means your staples are going to be equidistant. They're both going to be half an inch apart, which is the size of the staples I'm using. If you have bigger staples, you might have to adjust this. I don't think you could really achieve this result with smaller staples because they just wouldn't be big enough to go through the thickness of paper. Now all you've got to do is grab your staples and feed them through from the back to the front. And then when you've got them through, you're going to just I might actually take this page off because this one didn't go right through. There we go, that's better. Make sure that one's gone through. And I'll just pop that page on. Once you've got them through, you're just going to flatten them out with your scissors so that the edge of the staples are flattened. Here I am putting the top one through. You can see how it feeds through. And then you're just going to grab your scissors and flatten those staples. So how cool is that? That is so simple. And you don't need a long arm stapler or anything like that. You just need a couple of staples and your scissors and a poking tool or an awl or paper piercer. Now I have some page creep on the outside where the pages are starting to show on the inside. Now you can expect that to happen. So all I'm going to do on my cutting mat is to take my steel edge and my cutting knife, and I'm just going to slice away that excess that's poking through on the outside of the ruler there. And you can just do this one slice at a time. So you're slicing through the top layer, then you're slicing through the next layer. It's quite simple. I did find, because there was some foil in these pages, that I had to put a bit of pressure on this knife, but be careful when you do this that you keep your steel edge nice and close to the edge of your blade. You don't want to be cutting yourself here. So once that's all done, you can see I've been shaving those edges off. Then that page creep, which happens when you staple some thick pages together, has been sorted out. And this is what it looks like finished. You can see how beautifully bound it is. This looks like it was always a book. It's a handy tool to know that you can use a single staple and a piercing tool to bind a book. Now I want to create the cover. So I have some letters that I've, not letters, numbers I should say, that I've cut out with some die cuts. And I still have my steel edge here, so I'm going to bring that in to line up the numbers. And I'm going to use Tombow multi-adhesive to adhere this. Just a few little dots on the back of each number, not too much, because I don't want anything smearing out over the top and spoiling this lovely gold foil paper. I'm going to do the 2 and the 8 first, and that's going to help me create equidistance between all of the numbers. So now I'll bring in the 0. I'm going to put a few dabs of Tombow multi-adhesive on the back of it. Any liquid glue or craft glue would work well for this. And then you can see now I've got room to line up the one wherever I think it's going to look nice and tidy. And I'm really happy with that. That turned out really nicely. So the next thing we're going to do, or I'm going to do for you, I should say, is I'm going to adhere those calendar pieces in to the inside of the book. So January was my shells because we're always at the beach in January. February was fish because we love to go out on the boat and go fishing in February. March is flowers because we start to get into our garden and do some pruning and do some planting after the heat of summer. April is my birthday month, so I have a happy birthday message for me. May is just a celebration of all the beautiful bird life we have living where we do near the National Park. We get so many gorgeous birds coming and visiting us in our garden. And if you're making one of these, you can really make it the way you want it with the stamps that you have. Some of these stamps are really old stamps that I've had for a really long time. June is our holiday, so that's adventure. July is, yes, reminding myself that's why I take the holiday in June, because we have cold, blustery, rainy days here. August, we get a lot of wind, so we're out doing a lot of raking in the yard. September is our anniversary month. And October, Halloween, which I absolutely love. I really enjoy Halloween. November is back into the garden again and doing some of the chores towards working on our spring flowers and what we've put in before summer. And then December, of course, is Christmas and all the fun things that happen at Christmas time. So whatever you decide to put on your calendar, just use the tools that you have, use the paper that you have. You can see you could really use this for all sorts of different kinds of projects using different papers and different stamps. Now I have these fantastic little stickers that I have been using. I love these because you can actually position them over the top of your piece, measure up how long you want them to be, and cut them perfectly to fit. So what I basically did with the stickers was, there are a lot of stickers that are quite linear, and I wanted to create some lines across these calendar pages. I wanted it to be a subtle gold because there's so much gold happening in this paper. It's really blingy, which I like. But I wanted it to be a subtle effect and not too overpowering. And I also wanted it to be something that would be a continuous theme throughout the whole 12 months. So having something gold and linear at the bottom of each piece seemed to work really well. Now, while you're watching this, I did want to remind you that I have a Stampers Art Gallery over on Facebook. It's our closed Facebook group, and I would love for you to join our group and check it out. You can post anything that you've been making, whatever brand of products you use, whatever medium you use, whatever style of art you like. You can post it over on Stampers Art Gallery wall. I'll put the link below this video. You can join our group, and we are growing a lovely community of people over there who are starting to showcase their works. And each month I'm going to be doing a prize for the best photograph that comes up, and I'll also be showcasing the photos on YouTube as my monthly mail call. So if you'd like to be on YouTube, have your photograph of your work on YouTube, just hop on over to Stampers Art Gallery and join our group. It's really exciting to see the members start to arrive over there, and the challenge for January is make it bright. So if you have a really bright project that you've been making, it could be anything art related. It doesn't necessarily have to be a card. It could be the scrapbook page. It could be a 3D item. It could be anything at all. Show us your photos of your makes over on Stampers Art Gallery, and the link is below. Remember, there are monthly prizes and there's a monthly mail call. You might actually have your work featured here on my YouTube channel. So that's another thing that we are doing in January this year, and I'm really excited for this new project. Now I'm just finishing this off with the last little strip going in for December. And I have 2 pages at the back of the book that I am going to keep free. This is what it looks like close up. But if you only wanted to use 3 pages to make this book, you could. You'll see that at the very back I have left 2 pages blank, and I intend on adhering some plain white cardstock on those 2 pages, and I'm going to write down the dates of my friends and family's birthdays so that I know when to send out the homemade birthday cards, the homemade birthday cards for my friends and family. And that's why there's 2 pages at the back are blank. If you enjoyed this project, don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, leave me a comment and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Join us over in Stampers Art Gallery, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.